So have you ever been given something good and you complained about it because you didn't recognize it? Like when we're growing up, and honestly, I know some adults like this, that we get vegetables set in front of us and they're all cleaned. They've all been rinsed off, they're not like straight from Costco. They've been rinsed and thoroughly, and they're good. Someone took time and they put them on our plate, and we kind of like, vegetables again. Instead of recognizing that we actually have food, and food is good. And there's many people who don't have food. You remember, your parents always used to say, there are children starving in wherever, China, Africa, whatever, fill in the blank. And they made you feel guilty for not eating your food, right? But there is some truth here. And the truth is spiritual. Because a lot of the times we don't recognize the good things God has given us in our life, and we complain against Him for things that we don't have. And by the way, this is the start of sin. God says it this way in Hebrews. In Hebrews, God is appealing to them to not walk away from Christ because they aren't looking at Him as good anymore. And He likens it to the Israelites in the desert for 40 years that complained against the manna. You remember that they complained that God was sending manna from heaven, these honey wafers every morning, and instead of looking at the miracle, they started complaining they didn't have anything else to eat. That was the start of sin. The start of sin was not being able to recognize God's goodness in the moment. And so here's what he says in Hebrews 3:12. He says, "See to it, brothers and sisters, that none of you has a sinful, unbelieving heart that turns away from the living God, but encourage one another daily, so long as it's called today, so that you may not be hardened by the sin or the deceitfulness of sin." It's just simple reminders, my friends. Don't surround yourself by people who complain about the same thing you do. Because if you do, you will not see the goodness of God. The goodness of God is recognized when we surround ourselves by people who are able to help us see a different perspective. We need to be surrounded by people who can see God's goodness in all things, because it's so easy to become a complainer. So let us not complain today. Let us go to the throne of grace and know that Jesus is our high priest, who has given us all good things, no matter what we think. God bless you.